The message arrived on a Tuesday morning. At first, the scientists at the Deep Space Listening Array thought it was a glitch. The signal was too clear, too structured to be natural. Within hours, every major government on Earth knew. We were not alone. 3 days later, a ship appeared in orbit. It was smooth and silver, shaped like a teardrop, and bigger than anything humans had ever built. The world watched as a smaller craft detached and descended toward the United Nations headquarters in New York. The alien called itself Ambassador Zixtar of the Vexan Empire. It stood 7 feet tall with blue-gray skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. 4 arms emerged from its torso, and its eyes, 3 of them, blinked sideways. "I bring greetings from the Galactic Council," it said through a device at its throat. "We have watched your species for many years. You are now deemed ready for integration." The human delegates shifted nervously in their seats. Integration sounded promising, but something in the alien's tone felt wrong. "Integration comes with responsibilities," Zixtar continued. "All new species must contribute to the Council's operations. Earth will provide 30% of all precious metals and rare earth elements mined annually as tribute." The room fell silent. "This is standard procedure," the alien said, though its middle eye didn't meet any human gaze. "Your first payment is expected in 6 Earth months. Failure to comply will result in isolation from galactic trade routes and possible containment measures." President Olivia Martinez sat in the Oval Office 2 hours later, surrounded by her closest advisors. The windows were darkened, and the room was secure against any listening devices, alien or otherwise. "They're asking for nearly a third of our most valuable resources," said Secretary of Defense Frank Gallo, a former Marine with a square jaw and hands that couldn't stay still. "That would cripple our economy." Dr. Sofia Rodriguez, recently appointed as head of Sino-Diplomatic Relations, pushed her glasses up her nose. "I've analyzed their message carefully. This demand is unusual, possibly even illegal by their own standards." "Explain," President Martinez said, leaning forward. The ambassador mentioned standard procedure, but was careful not to reference any specific regulation. His body language, assuming we can read it correctly, suggested deception. Admiral Peter Blackwood of the Space Force nodded in agreement. "We've been monitoring their ship. It's powerful, but not as advanced as we might expect from a galactic civilization. They have energy weapons we can't match, but their hull design isn't that far beyond our theoretical capabilities." President Martinez stood and walked to the window, looking out at the Washington Monument in the distance. "Options. We could try to negotiate," Rodriguez suggested. "Ask for more time, better terms." "They'll see that as weakness," Gallo countered. "These aren't diplomats. They're conquerors using diplomacy as cover." Admiral Blackwood cleared his throat. "Madam President, we have been working on some projects. Reverse engineering from crashed ships we've recovered over the years. Nothing combat-ready, but promising." The president turned, surprise evident on her face. "And I'm just hearing about this now." "Need-to-know basis, ma'am. Established by the previous administration." Martinez sighed. "Well, I certainly need to know now. What do you have?" For the next hour, Blackwood outlined the Aurora program, a secret initiative that had made significant progress in understanding alien propulsion and energy systems. Meanwhile, Rodriguez shared her theory that Earth had been specifically targeted because of humanity's rapid technological advancement. "They see us as a potential threat," she explained. "This tribute isn't about resources, it's about keeping us dependent and controlled." As night fell over Washington, the group reached a decision. They would not surrender Earth's future to alien demands, but neither would they rush into an unwinnable war. "We need time," President Martinez said finally. "We'll appear to comply while secretly preparing. Admiral, accelerate the Aurora program. Dr. Rodriguez, find me everything you can about the Galactic Council, their laws, their politics, their weaknesses. And Frank, get our allies on board without causing panic." As they left the Oval Office, none of them spoke about the enormity of what they were planning. humanity's first encounter with alien life, and they were already preparing for resistance. But in their hearts, they knew freedom was worth the risk. 2 weeks after the alien ultimatum, Admiral Blackwood called a meeting in an underground facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The room was filled with Earth's top military commanders, scientists, and engineers. Large screens showed satellite images of the Vexan ship still orbiting Earth. Operation Defiant Shield begins today, Admiral Blackwood announced, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. We have 6 months to prepare before the first tribute payment is due. He pressed a button, and a detailed plan appeared on the main screen. The Vexans expect us to be helpless and frightened, he continued. We'll use that to our advantage. On the surface, we'll appear to comply while secretly building our defenses. Dr. Natalie West, a quantum physicist with curly red hair and intense green eyes, stepped forward. My team has been working on a technology we call the quantum shield, she explained. It creates a field that exists partially out of phase with normal spacetime. In theory, it could make us invisible to their scanners and even deflect their energy weapons. A murmur of excitement ran through the room. The power requirements are enormous, Dr. West cautioned. We'll need 5 massive generators placed strategically around the planet. Admiral Blackwood nodded. Construction will begin immediately at these locations. He displayed a map showing sites in the Sahara Desert, beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the Australian outback, under Antarctic ice, and in the Canadian wilderness. NASA Director Patrick Howard spoke next. Meanwhile, we'll accelerate production of our new fleet. He showed designs for ships that looked like simple mining vessels from the outside, but concealed advanced weapon systems inside. We're calling the flagship the U.S. Defiant. The meeting continued for hours as they refined the plan. Engineer Samantha Griffin would oversee the quantum shield construction. Intelligence Officer Kevin Murphy would attempt to infiltrate the Galactic Council headquarters on Proxima Centauri to gather information and find potential allies. 2 days later, President Martinez met with Ambassador Zix Tar. Her smile was warm, but her eyes were steady and determined. Earth will comply with the Council's request, she said. We are pleased to join the galactic community and will prepare the first tribute payment. The alien's middle eye narrowed slightly. That is, wise. The Council will be pleased. We would like to learn more about the Council, Martinez continued. Perhaps we could send a diplomatic delegation. After some hesitation, the ambassador agreed. 4 weeks later, veteran diplomat Richard Cole and his team boarded a Vexan shuttle. Cole, with his silver hair and calm demeanor, had negotiated peace in many human conflicts. Now he faced his greatest challenge. As the shuttle accelerated beyond Earth's atmosphere, Cole reviewed his real mission: buy time, assess the Council, and find potential allies. In his briefcase were detailed scans of the Vexan ship and their communications, analyzed by Dr. Rodriguez's team. Back on Earth, the secret preparations accelerated. In the Nevada desert, Captain Lisa Hernandez watched as engineers worked on the prototype for Earth's first true warship. How soon until it's ready? She asked Engineer Griffin. 3 months for this one, Griffin replied, wiping sweat from her brow. 2 months after that for the next 4. They won't be pretty, but they'll pack a punch. At the same time, Dr. West supervised the excavation for the first quantum shield generator in the Sahara. The massive hole in the ground would soon house technology that might save their planet. In his office at the United Nations, Dr. Rodriguez discovered something interesting in the aliens' original message. There was a phrase about standard procedure that didn't match their database of Vexan communications. She sent an urgent message to Cole's team. The tribute demand might violate the Council's own charter. In orbit, the alien ship continued its silent watch, unaware of the activity below. Ambassador Zix Tar reported back to his superiors. The humans are compliant. They suspect nothing. But across the globe, humanity was preparing its response. They would not become slaves. They would not surrender their future. Operation Defiant Shield had begun. and Earth would never be the same again. The Galactic Council headquarters orbited Proxima Centauri, a massive ring-shaped station, with spires reaching outward like metal fingers. Richard Cole looked out the viewport of his quarters, still adjusting to the sight of alien species walking past. Some had tentacles, others had multiple limbs, and a few seemed to float rather than walk. "It's almost time for the council session," said his assistant, Diane Miller. She had been specially trained for this mission, her background in anthropology proving useful when interacting with non-human cultures. Cole nodded and adjusted his formal jacket. "Remember, our official purpose is to discuss tribute payment details. Our real goal is to find allies and gather information." The council chamber was enormous, with hundreds of platforms arranged in a circle. Each held representatives from different species. The Vexans occupied the largest and highest platform, showing their dominant position. Ambassador Zixtar introduced the human delegation with what seemed like forced politeness. "These are the representatives from Earth, the newest species to join our community. They wish to discuss their integration tribute." Cole stepped forward. "We are honored to address the council. Earth is preparing its first tribute payment, but we seek clarification on several points." As Cole spoke, he carefully watched the reactions of other species. Most seemed uninterested, but he noticed representatives from two groups, the Novan Collective and the Tellurian Federation, exchanging glances when tribute was mentioned. Later that day, a small alien approached Cole in a quiet corridor. The being had silver skin and large eyes that changed color as it spoke. "I am Krell of the Novan Collective," it said softly. "We should speak privately about these tribute demands." Back on Earth, the first quantum shield generator was nearly complete. Dr. West supervised as workers installed the final components in the Sahara facility. "Begin the activation sequence," she ordered, her voice tense with anticipation. The massive ring-shaped device hummed to life. Instruments around the facility began recording data as the quantum field formed. "It's working," exclaimed Dr. West's assistant. "The field is stable at 15% capacity." Dr. West allowed herself a small smile. "One down, 4 to go, and we'll need all 5 at full capacity to protect the planet." In Nevada, Captain Hernandez walked through the completed U.S. Defiant for the first time. From the outside, it looked like a large mining vessel. Inside, it contained weapons systems more advanced than anything humanity had built before. "How does she handle?" Hernandez asked the test pilot. "Like nothing I've ever flown," he replied. "The reverse-engineered alien tech makes her faster and more maneuverable than she looks." Meanwhile, Intelligence Officer Kevin Murphy had successfully infiltrated the lower levels of the council station. Disguised as a maintenance worker, he accessed restricted areas using security clearances provided by their new ally, Krell. In a secluded data room, Murphy downloaded files to a special device hidden in his tool belt. What he found confirmed their worst fears. The Vexans had done this before, demanding tribute from developing species, gradually increasing demands until the planets were stripped of resources. Several species had already been reduced to little more than slave labor. At a secure communication terminal, Murphy sent an encrypted message to Earth. "Tribute is not standard procedure. Multiple violations of Council Charter confirmed. Vexan end goal: complete resource extraction, possible enslavement." President Martinez read the message in the Situation Room, her expression grim. "How many of the generators are operational?" she asked Admiral Blackwood. "2 complete, 3 under construction," he replied. "The fleet will have 5 ships ready within 4 weeks." "And the diplomatic mission?" Dr. Rodriguez spoke up. "Cole reports potential allies among the Novans and Tellurians. Both have suffered similar demands from the Vexans." The president stood and walked to the map showing the locations of the quantum shield generators. "Move up the timeline. I want all generators operational within 3 weeks. The fleet should be ready to move in 4. "That's pushing the limits, Madam President," Admiral Blackwood cautioned. "We don't have a choice," she replied. The Vexans aren't planning to integrate us. They're planning to enslave us. And I will not let that happen. Across Earth, the pace of preparation increased. The time for humanity's bold response was approaching faster than anyone had expected. The deadline for the first tribute payment was only 3 weeks away. At the secret launch facility in the Pacific Ocean, Captain Lisa Hernandez stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defiant. 4 other ships floated nearby, their crews running final checks on systems. "All ships report ready, Captain," said her first officer, Steve Kelly. Hernandez nodded. "Send the signal to headquarters. The fleet is prepared for Operation Defiant Shield." In Washington, President Martinez received the message. "It's time to put our plan into action," she told her advisors. "Send word to Ambassador Cole. He should present our evidence to the full council in exactly 15 days. Unknown to the humans, they had an enemy within their ranks. Gregory Pierce, CEO of Global Mining Industries, sat in his luxury office overlooking New York City. A secret communication device, alien in origin, sat on his desk. "The humans are planning something," Pierce said into the device. "They've constructed ships disguised as mining vessels. I believe they intend to refuse the tribute." On the other end, Ambassador Zixtar's voice rasped with anger. "This is unfortunate, but not unexpected. Your cooperation will be remembered when we establish new leadership on Earth." Pierce smiled. The Vexans had promised him control of all Earth's mining operations after they took over. He would become the richest man in human history. "Their ships will depart in 5 days," he continued. "They expect to meet your collection vessel at Alpha Centauri." "They will find more than they expect," Zixtar replied. On the Galactic Council station, Richard Cole met secretly with representatives from 7 different species. Krell of the Novan Collective had brought others who suffered under Vexan demands. "My world has paid tribute for 20 years, said Banlore of the Tellurian Federation. "Each year they demand more. Now our people barely have enough to survive." Cole shared the evidence that Kevin Murphy had gathered. "The Vexan tribute system violates at least 17 provisions of the Council Charter. With your help, we can challenge them directly." "It would be dangerous," said Krell, its eyes shifting to a worried purple color. "The Vexans control the largest fleet in the galaxy." "But not the only fleet," Cole replied. "If we stand together, we have a chance." Back on Earth, the final quantum shield generator in Antarctica was coming online. Dr. West watched the readings carefully. "All 5 generators are now operational," she announced. "We can create a shield covering the entire planet at 60% maximum strength." "Will that be enough?" asked Admiral Blackwood, who had come to witness the activation. "Against a small attack, yes," Dr. West replied. "Against their full fleet, I'm not sure." 5 days later, the U.S. Defiant led Earth's small fleet toward the rendezvous point at Alpha Centauri. The ships carried token amounts of gold, platinum, and rare earth elements, just enough to make their cover story believable. "We're approaching the meeting coordinates," announced the navigation officer. Captain Hernandez stood from her chair. "Scan the area. The Vexans should have sent a single collection vessel." "Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships," the sensor officer said, his voice rising with concern. "At least 15 vessels. No, 20. They're in formation around the collection point." Hernandez's jaw tightened. "It's a trap. They knew we were coming." "Should we retreat?" asked Kelly. "No," Hernandez replied firmly. "We stick to the plan. Maintain course but have weapons systems on standby. Keep them hidden but ready." The comm officer spoke up. "We're being hailed by the Vexan commander." On the main screen, the face of a Vexan officer appeared. Unlike Ambassador Zixtar, this one had battle scars across his blue-gray skin. "I am General Krav of the Vexan Empire," he announced. "Prepare to be boarded and inspected before tribute transfer." "This wasn't part of the agreement," Hernandez replied calmly. "The agreement has changed," Krav said with what seemed like a smile. "You will comply or be destroyed." As the Vexan ships moved to surround them, Captain Hernandez gave a subtle signal to her crew. The real test of humanity's defiance was about to begin. Captain Hernandez kept her expression calm as the Vexan ships closed in. Her crew waited nervously for her command. "General Krav," she said, her voice steady, "we will allow a small inspection team to verify our tribute cargo. Please send no more than 5 officers." On the screen, General Krav seemed surprised by her easy agreement. "Very well. Prepare to receive our shuttle." Richard Cole received the urgent message while meeting secretly with his new allies. His face grew serious as he read it. "The Vexans have attacked our ships," he told the gathered representatives. "Earth has officially refused to pay tribute, and now we face their military response. We need to move forward with our plan immediately." Krell's skin rippled with concern. "The council meeting is not scheduled for another 10 days. We cannot simply demand an emergency session." "Actually, we can," said Banlor of the Tellurian Federation. "Under Article 7 of the Charter, any 3-member species can call for an emergency session if there is an immediate threat to galactic peace." Cole looked at the 7 representatives around him. "Will 3 of you support this?" They exchanged glances, then one by one, the Novans, Tellurians, and a crystal-based species called the Luminary agreed. Within hours, the council chambers were filled with confused and angry representatives from across the galaxy. The Vexan High Counselor, a large and imposing figure named Dravzor, stormed into the chamber. "What is the meaning of this? Who called this emergency session?" The council arbiter, an ancient being made of shifting smoke and light, floated at the center of the room. "Representatives from Earth, Nova, Tellurian, and Luminary have brought serious allegations against the Vexan Empire. They will present their evidence now." Cole stepped forward, his heart pounding but his voice strong. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, the Vexan Empire has violated the Council Charter through its tribute system. This is not integration but extortion and eventual enslavement." Displays around the chamber showed the evidence Kevin Murphy had gathered: records of increasing tribute demands, planets stripped of resources, and species reduced to poverty and servitude. The council members murmured in shock as the data scrolled past. "Furthermore," Cole continued, "when Earth refused to submit to these illegal demands, the Vexans launched a military attack. They now move toward our planet with hostile intent." High Counselor Dravzor rose from his seat. "These are lies. The humans attacked our collection fleet. They violated the terms of their integration." Banlor stepped forward next. "My world has paid tribute for 20 years. Each year, the demands increase. Our economy has collapsed. Our people starve, while the Vexans grow rich from our resources." One by one, representatives from other species stood to share similar stories. The chamber grew loud with angry voices as more council members realized what had been happening. Back on Earth, the quantum shield glowed in the sky as it reached full power. Dr. West monitored the readings from the control center beneath the Sahara. "Shield integrity at 98%, she reported. "It should hold against their weapons, at least for a while." President Martinez watched the radar screens as the 3 surviving Earth ships approached. Behind them, 18 Vexan warships pursued in attack formation. "How long until our ships reach the shield?" she asked. 17 minutes, Admiral Blackwood replied. "The Vexans are 14 minutes behind them." Martinez nodded. "Open a channel to Captain Hernandez." On the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, Hernandez received the President's call. "Yes, Madam President." "Captain, bring your ships through at these coordinates." Martinez sent the data. "We'll create a small opening in the shield. It will close immediately after you're through." At the Galactic Council, the debate had turned into chaos. Species accused each other of knowledge or complicity in the Vexan tribute scheme. The Arbiter's light pulsed brightly, calling for order. "The evidence is clear," the Arbiter announced finally. "The Vexan tribute system violates 17 provisions of our charter. I hereby order an immediate cessation of all tribute collection pending a full investigation." Dravzor's 3 eyes bulged with rage. The Vexan Empire does not recognize this ruling. General Krav will continue his mission to subdue Earth. Then the Vexan Empire stands in violation of Council law, the Arbiter declared. All military action against Earth must cease immediately. Cole watched as many Council members signaled support for the ruling. But would it be enough to stop the Vexan fleet already heading toward Earth? He sent an urgent message to President Martinez. Council ruling in our favor. Vexans officially censured, but their fleet likely won't stop. In space near Earth, Captain Hernandez saw the quantum shield glowing ahead. Behind her, the Vexan ships were closing in, their weapons charging. The real battle for Earth was about to begin. The Earth ships raced toward the glowing quantum shield. On the U.S. Defiance bridge, Captain Hernandez watched the distance counter tick down. 5 minutes until we reached the shield entry point, reported the navigation officer. And the Vexans? Hernandez asked. 12 minutes behind us, but gaining. They've increased speed. Hernandez opened a channel to the other 2 ships. Stay in tight formation. We'll have only seconds to get through the shield opening. On Earth, Dr. West's team prepared to create a small hole in the shield. Targeting coordinates locked in, she said. Shield opening will last for 15 seconds only. President Martinez had gone on worldwide television an hour earlier to explain the situation. Now people around the world watched the sky, some in fear, others in determination. For the first time in history, humanity faced an extraterrestrial threat together. Admiral Blackwood stood in the command center, monitoring the approaching ships. Madam President, we've received word from our allies at the Council. The Novans and Tellurians are sending ships to help defend Earth. How long until they arrive? Martins asked. At least 6 hours. We'll have to hold out until then. In space, General Krav's flagship led the Vexan attack fleet. Increase speed, he ordered. We must catch them before they reach their shield. His second-in-command approached cautiously. General, we've received orders from the Council to cease our attack. The tribute system has been suspended. Krav turned all 3 eyes toward the officer. The Council does not command the Vexan military. High Counselor Dravzor has ordered us to continue. Earth must be made an example for all who would defy us. On the bridge of the U.S. Defiant, the shield grew larger in the view screen. 1 minute to entry point, called the navigation officer. Energy spike from the lead Vexan vessel, shouted another officer. They're firing long-range weapons. The ship rocked as energy beams struck its rear shields. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Shields down to 60%, reported Kelly. One more hit like that, and we're in trouble. Captain Hernandez gripped her chair. Evasive maneuvers. Keep heading for the entry point. The 3 Earth ships zigzagged as they approached the shield, making them harder targets. The Vexans fired again and again, most shots missing, but a few finding their marks. The Washington is hit badly, called the communications officer. They're losing power. Hernandez made a quick decision. Tell them to divert all power to engines. We need to get through that shield. The massive quantum shield filling their view began to shimmer at one small point. Entry point opening now, came Dr. West's voice over the comm. The U.S. Defiant led the way, passing through the small hole in the shield. The damaged Washington followed, limping through just before the opening began to close. The Jefferson won't make it, someone shouted. On the Jefferson, Captain Henry Williams watched the shield opening shrink. We're not going to clear it, he told his crew calmly. All power to weapons. Let's buy the others some time. The Jefferson turned to face the oncoming Vexan fleet, its weapons firing at full power. It struck the lead Vexan ship, causing significant damage before being destroyed in a blaze of energy. Inside the shield, the 2 surviving Earth ships headed for landing bases. The quantum shield rippled as the Vexan fleet began firing at it from outside. In the Sahara Control Center, Dr. West monitored the readings with growing concern. Shield impact at Sector 7. Power drain higher than expected. "Will it hold?" asked Admiral Blackwood over the comm. "For now," she replied, "but not indefinitely against that much firepower." General Krav studied the shimmering barrier surrounding Earth. "Focus all weapons on one point," he ordered. "Find the weakest generator and target it." The Vexan ships formed a new pattern, concentrating their fire on the southern portion of the shield, near Antarctica. On Earth, people watched as part of the shield began to glow brighter under the assault. In the Antarctic control station, warning alarms sounded as systems overheated. "Antarctic generator taking critical damage," reported an engineer to Dr. West. "Estimated failure in 30 minutes. President Martinez received the news grimly. "How long until our allies arrive?" 5.5 hours at best," replied Admiral Blackwood. Martinez nodded slowly. "Then we have to hold out, no matter what it takes." The Antarctic shield generator struggled under the continued Vexan attack. Warning lights flashed in control rooms around the world as technicians fought to keep the system online. "Reroute power from the other generators," Dr. West ordered. "We need to reinforce the southern section." In Washington, President Martinez met with Captain Hernandez, who had landed 20 minutes earlier. "4 hours until our allies arrive," Martinez said. "The shield won't last that long." Hernandez looked at the battle displays. "Then we need to change the game." Dr. West has been working on something that might help. On the call screen, Dr. West explained her plan. "The quantum shield doesn't just block energy, it can redirect it. If we recalibrate all 5 generators simultaneously, we could turn their weapons against them." "What do you need?" asked the president. "Time. And all the power we can get." Around the world, cities went dark as power was diverted to the shield generators. People watched from windows and rooftops as the sky battle continued. In orbit, General Krav grew impatient. "Why is this taking so long? Increase power to all weapons." The Vexan ships fired with even greater intensity. The shield over Antarctica glowed bright white under the assault. Inside the Antarctic facility, systems were failing. "We can't hold much longer," an engineer reported to Dr. West. "We just need 10 more minutes," she replied. "The recalibration is at 80%. In the Galactic Council chamber, Richard Cole received an urgent message from Earth. He turned to his allies. "Earth's defenses are failing. We need to act now." Krell of the Novan Collective stepped forward. "I have just received word. Our fleet has encountered Vexan reinforcements heading to Earth. They are engaged in battle." The Arbiter floated at the center of the chamber, its light form pulsing. "This conflict now threatens the entire region. I invoke Section 12 of the Charter. Direct Council intervention." Many Council members gasped. Section 12 had not been used in thousands of years. High Counselor Dravzor stood in outrage. "You have no authority." "The vote will decide," said the Arbiter. One by one, species voted. When the final count was made, the decision was clear. The Council would intervene to stop the Vexan attack. At Earth, the Antarctic shield section finally failed. A hole opened in the planetary defense, and 3 Vexan ships moved to enter. "Now," shouted Dr. West over the emergency channel. All 5 shield generators shifted power simultaneously. The quantum shield changed from a blue-white color to a deep purple. As the next volley of Vexan weapons hit the shield, something unexpected happened. The energy didn't break through. It reflected back, amplified by the quantum field. Vexan ships were hit by their own weapons, their shields failing under the unexpected attack. "It's working," Dr. West exclaimed. "The shield is redirecting their energy back at them." General Krav watched in horror as his ships began to explode. "Cease fire. All ships cease fire immediately." But the order came too late for many vessels. The Vexan fleet that had seemed so powerful now faced destruction from its own weapons. On Earth's surface, people cheered as they watched the shield throwing back the alien attack. The Vexan ships retreated to a safe distance, their formation broken. Then new ships appeared on the long-range sensors, the combined fleet of the Novans, Tellurians, and several other Council species. They surrounded the remaining Vexan vessels. General Krav came the voice of the Council arbiter over all channels. By authority of the Galactic Council, you are ordered to stand down immediately. Krav knew he was defeated. All ships, power down weapons, he ordered bitterly. 2 weeks later, Earth's leaders stood in the Galactic Council chamber. President Martinez addressed the assembled species. Humanity came close to destruction, she said, but we also found friends among the stars. Together, we have proven that freedom cannot be crushed by tyranny, no matter how powerful it seems. The Council voted to end the tribute system entirely. The Vexan Empire was stripped of its leadership position, and several Vexan leaders, including Dravzor and General Krav, faced trial for their actions. Richard Cole became Earth's first permanent ambassador to the Council. Dr. West's quantum shield technology was shared with other worlds that had suffered under Vexan rule. As the vote concluded, the Arbiter's light form brightened. Let this mark a new beginning. Earth has shown us that even the youngest species can teach the oldest a valuable lesson. True strength comes not from domination, but from standing together for what is right. Captain Hernandez looked out at the thousands of different beings in the chamber and smiled. Humanity had not just survived its first galactic crisis, it had helped create a better future for all.